The boardroom was alive with energy, the kind Alex Carter thrived in. Fingers drummed lightly against the polished walnut table as numbers flashed across the massive wall screen record profits, soaring market share, projections that glowed like neon signs toward a limitless future. Alex leaned forward, eyes sharp, voice steady yet electric as they outlined the next phase of expansion. Around the table, the team hung on every word, and at the far end, Marcus Reed caught Alex's gaze and gave the slightest, affirming nod. Marcus, more than just the COO, more than just a friend, was the one who'd been there when cash reserves barely covered payroll, when they'd eaten cheap takeout on the office floor at midnight, sketching plans for a dream neither of them fully understood yet. Years of grit had hardened them both, and success had layered Alex's vision in gold. Together, they had built an empire, bonded over sleepless nights and impossible wins. There had been sacrifices. Alex walking away from steady corporate security to chase something raw and dangerous. Marcus giving up a family inheritance to invest in their first product launch. In private moments, they talked of a future where the company would dominate continents, where their names would be threaded into the DNA of the tech industry itself. But trust is a currency even more volatile than stocks. Marcus smiled when Alex presented at the global summit, smiled when the crowd stood in ovation, but behind that smile, something curdled. Late nights no longer meant innovation, but whispered phone calls to a rival, emails disguised under encrypted signatures. Using the access Alex had so freely given him, Marcus bled sensitive data out of the company like a slow poison. Key investors received altered reports, production delays appeared overnight in supply lines, the media smelled scandal before Alex ever suspected. And then, the blow came sharp and Publican Anonymous leak, accusing Alex of fraud, falsifying contracts, exploiting labor in overseas facilities. Marcus watched from the shadows as headlines shredded Alex's reputation, as customers fled, as lawsuits multiplied like storm clouds in summer heat. It was over in weeks. One day Alex was the celebrated architect of a multi-million-dollar empire, the next they were a pariah. Frozen accounts, agents rifling through files, faces turning away when they passed on the street. The company was stripped from them, sold in pieces to competitors. Marcus gave statements of regret to the press, playing the loyal soldier blindsided by his leader's supposed corruption. The betrayal stung deeper than the ruin itself, because Alex had trusted him with everything, not just the keys to the business, but the map to their soul. Exiled from the city they had conquered, Alex found themselves in a borrowed cabin, far from the pulse of ambition. Days blurred into nights as they sifted through fragments of who they once were, wondering if the voice inside one that had driven them upward, made them fight, had gone silent for good. Shame sat heavy. Betrayal burned in a quiet, constant way, like embers refusing to extinguish. But in that quiet, something shifted. Rock bottom wasn't just the end, it was a foundation. It began small. Morning runs through the fog until muscles remembered they could carry weight. Silent hours with notebooks filled with painful truths and sharper ideas, studying market patterns under a single lamp, fueled not by caffeine, but by a fire that no one could see yet. Alex rebuilt themselves in secrecy, mind and body, stripping away the illusions they once believed invulnerable. Every sting of memory about Marcus became a push forward. Every headline from the past a reminder of why the next climb had to be smarter, harder, untouchable. They stood at the window one dawn, the mist clearing around the ridge, and made the vow a loud, quiet but steel-edged. They would take back what was stolen, not in vengeance alone, but to prove that resilience could be forged from ashes. The next empire would be different. It would be armored in truth, tempered by betrayal, and built on foundations no traitor could crack. Alex Carter had fallen, but they understood now. The climb would be the story. And this time, there would be no brother to turn the knife.